Welcome back to Focus Today. And wow, always an honor to have with us David Curry, President and CEO of Open Doors USA. Can't say enough about this ministry and the work that they do around the world. If you're not familiar with it, I would encourage you to go to opendoorsusa.org. They've been around a long time and they do terrific work. David, good to see you again. How you doing, friend?
Good. It's nice to be with you. I always enjoy it.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, give us an update. What's going on, especially with Pastor Raymond? Again, you give us an update.
Well, yesterday I was in New York. I met with officials from the Malaysian government there at the UN. And what we're encouraging them to do is to draw attention. There's a new government in Malaysia as of 2 weeks ago that's really trying to uproot corruption within the society, at least in this short period of time. And we're trying to focus them on what has happened to this pastor in Malaysia, Pastor Raymond Koh, who was kidnapped a year ago for speaking out for his faith. We know that because of the threats he's received to his home and these sorts of things. It's a dramatic story of the persecution of Christians around the world.
Has anybody taken credit for the kidnapping?
There was one crackpot who took credit for it, but people can watch the actual abduction on video. We found the closed circuit television of the surrounding homes. If they go to YouTube, Pastor Raymond Koh abduction, they'll see it. It's a professional hit. And we have two theories, and I'll talk about each of them because I think it's significant. First, that they were Islamic extremists because the threats were of an extremist nature around Islam. And so we anticipated that it could be that. That does happen around the world. Secondly, we thought it could be the government. And when you see the abduction video of this pastor, you'd see why. It's very, very professionally done. There's jeeps and men in blue uniforms that looks like the Malaysian secret police. And they have been known to put Muslims who have converted to Christianity under house arrest, to have there's been rumors anyway of re-education camps. We've talked to folks who don't really want to talk on camera about the kind of brainwashing that's been happening there. It's just a sign and an illustration of the kind of extremism which exists within the Malaysian government. It's not everywhere. Malaysia has pockets of its population that are, very open to diverse ideas. But they do have extremists who are trying to push Sharia law throughout the entire government.
Do you know if he's alive?
We don't know if he's alive. What we do know is a whistleblower has stepped forward in the last week from the police and said that the police were involved. And so now yesterday he was to testify before a panel. He refused to do that. The panel is a human rights panel. It cannot compel him to speak. So it could go either way. My fear is that now that it's come to light with the whistleblower that the police may be involved, that they may want to get rid of any evidence of any connection to the crime. There are also 3 other pastors who were abducted during that same time period. So it's a big question mark, Barry.
When you meet with the Malaysian ministry, what are they telling you?
Well, this is the UN, and so, of course, they have a way of looking at the world through the lens of a larger human rights scope, and less so about things and mechanisms they can do within their own government at home, particularly if the corruption is within the police force, which it seems to be. But what we talk to them about is how do we get an independent investigation, a truly independent investigation, when the police seem to be the ones who could at least be involved. So they have some ideas about that and will be working with us, I think. I really do think they were sincere in this. We watched the abduction video of Pastor Raymond Koh, so they had heard of the case. They had not seen it. When they saw it, they understood the professional nature of the abduction. For people here in Oregon who are watching or listening right now, they need to understand a world in which the government is trying to make sure that nobody can become a Christian. Nobody can change their mind and convert to Christianity, and they're making it a policy. and trying to force people into an Islamic mold. And we're pushing for freedom of conscience, that people decide for themselves what they believe. And that seems critical and fundamental to our American way of thinking, but in many places around the world, it is not.
Yeah. We hear these stories and our brain goes on tilt. You make a great point here, David. Give us an idea. What is it like to be a Christian there? I mean, can you exist? Can you gather for worship? How does it work?
Well, Christians do live peacefully there in Malaysia. I've been to Kuala Lumpur and met with some of the Christians there. What the challenge that arises in Malaysian society is if a Muslim wants to walk into a Christian church, not only is that Muslim in danger, both of, I guess, in a legal sense, but also in a larger cultural sense, being seen in a Christian church like that. But if the church or the pastor accepts them, they will certainly be shut down and harassed. And that's just if they walk into church and decide they want to attend. So there are examples, lots of them, where Christians are living side by side with Muslims peacefully in Malaysia because they're warm, friendly people. But this Islamic shariah theology is challenging Malaysian culture, much the way it is every Islamic culture around the world. It's an issue that Christian communities, that secular governments even cannot address, that Islam has to address radicals within their culture that do not allow people to change their mind, to determine for themselves what their faith is. If you can't do that, in what way are you free if you can't make up your own mind? Now, we don't have a challenge with that in Christianity because it's an internal discussion, but they're trying to use Sharia law to force compliance on a secular or Christian society as it relates to Islamic law. It's a big disconnect.
Amazing. So, David, what can our viewers and listeners do to show support of Pastor Cohen? What's the process here? What's the protocol?
The process is that we've been to the UN yesterday. We're going to go to the Home Secretary in Malaysia. We need names of Christians here in America that will stand with me. So I could say I have 100,000 people here who know about this case. It's not going away. We're going to talk with the State Department folks, Sam Brownback, who's terrific on religious liberty there in the State Department, and Mike Pompeo has made a great statement that I really believe he's going to do a nice job as the Secretary of State. We're going to pressure in every way. But I need names of believers, and we have on our website just a place where people can go, yeah, I care about Pastor Cohen. I'm willing for my name to be associated with that. If I can take 100,000 names into the State Department, it'd be a big, big boost to this story.
Let me say to our viewers and listeners, go to opendoorsusa.org and add your name. There's a picture of the landing page, opendoorsusa.org.